welcome back. Hope things are well. Xogue here, coming at you with episode 12. As you can see, we're still here at the Enderfarm. The reason for that is because we recently updated to the latest snapshot, 14W28B, which means the thing I said about the slimes and how they don't spawn as much is no longer true. Now, that's something I'll show you in a minute. I now have 6 stacks of sticky pistons. Slimes are spawning just fine, which means we can now put a bunch more levels on here. I'm not sure exactly how much or how many we're going to put up there. But, yeah, you see it's already working. And the reason I'm going to add more levels is just because you can. The most efficient farm has levels all the way up to 127, 128. And the reason for that, it used to be that if you put anything above 128, then the game would actually start checking above that for mob spawning, which would actually reduce the efficiency of an ender farm. Now, I've heard that in these snapshots it's no longer true, that it doesn't use that LC value, which is what it was referred to as. It actually showed up here in the debug screen, the F3 screen. But that's no longer true. That LC value doesn't play into mob spawning anymore, and I haven't verified that one way or the other, but I do know that it's still pointless to add anything above that, because if a mob spawns more than 128 blocks away from you, he instantly despawns. And if there's more blocks up top, then it's going to spawn them there and then instantly despawning them, wasting a spawn. So we still don't want to go above 128, regardless of whether or not the LC value actually matters. So the reason I have this here is because this is the easiest way to get blocks to build with for something like this. Otherwise, you know, if you use cobblestone, you have to run back and forth getting a bunch, or just make one big back and forth trip to stock up a bunch of chests, which these are not those chests. These are ender pearl chests, which we've almost completely filled up already. You know, any other block, wood, or you'd make a tree farm, I guess, if you really wanted to, but that still takes time. This is just easy. You make a snowman, and in the end, he does make this block. So if you walk over here with an iron shovel, I can't talk, apparently, but you want to use iron because you don't want to waste the durability of your awesome diamond pick with efficiency and unbreaking and stuff, because iron works just fine. And what this does is it gives you pretty much infinite snowballs, which means you get infinite snow blocks. Now you do have to go through after you get a decent amount, generally after you fill up your entire inventory, and then you can go up here and place them all in the grid to get your blocks. But what you do is you literally, as long as you have the iron, which I've stocked up with some wood for sticks, iron for shovels, as much as I need. I have the sticky pistons, I've got the string, I've got some tripwires, you know, things along those lines. This is just one of the easiest ways. So I'm going to go ahead. I just wanted to show you this little trick here. I'm going to finish this up, and then we're going to see some before and after footage of these guys, you know, dropping down. See how much of a difference there is. All right, so give me a second. Whoa, split screen. 2 video files, 2 audio files. Kind of expected, wasn't it? If it's a little too disorienting, then let me know, and it'll never happen again, but I think it's all right. Should be fine. It definitely demonstrates what I want it to. Now, while you're watching the right side fill up much faster than the left, I wanted to talk to you about the new farm that I designed, and the reason I did so was because I did tests, and I have come up with some educated guesses on why things happen, such as the farms being about half as efficient as they should be. The reason for it is because now it seems that the game checks the entire build height regardless of if you have built above 128 or not. That no longer matters in the new snapshots, so keep that in mind if you ever need to build an ender farm or something. So this new farm is now 24 wide. and you never have to stop killing Enderman. It's a lot wider than, you know, the farm you see here, and it is what it is. If you want to use the more resources to make it wide, so be it. It'll help. But if you want to make it this wide, it's still going to be decent. It's not going to be as awesome as the ones you see in all these videos on YouTube, aside from this one, but it will be good. It will be good enough. It also uses the 2 wide area for the vines, and also 3 high vines. And the first one, the 2 wide, prevents the clogs, and the 3 high makes it so Endermen don't die on impact. Sometimes 2 high can't, it doesn't reset the fall distance completely, so they can die in this farm you see here. The levels are also a little bit more efficient, but they use more resources, so it is what it is. But you won't see this new version until / if the server map is reset, because I'm not going to tear it down. The one I have now is definitely working fine. So if the map gets reset, you will see it then, if I'm the one chosen to do the Enderfarm. But since this is about the end of this little split screen adventure, you see the left side is empty. We're still falling. The right side is done. And there's one last thing that we need to do before I can say this thing is complete. It's currently an issue. I already mentioned how, you know, this stuff, it's usually too wide in most of the designs. And the reason for that is so this doesn't happen. And what is going on is that multiple Endermen are falling down the exact same spot in the vines. So they're basically getting pushed to the back and front simultaneously, which is keeping both of them up. And more than 2 can actually be there for that to happen. So I'm sitting here trying to figure out what I can do, and I believe I did come up with some kind of a solution. And yeah, I guess if I put it here, yeah, that should be fine. So I'm just going to go around this, and that's not where I wanted it at the moment. Let's go around the other side here. And you see, if something pushes them, then they spread out, and then they end up falling. And that's the idea behind what I'm doing now. So basically, I was looking for something, this is how I came up with the idea, that could push mobs, but didn't create any lighting effects because, you know, the spawning would be affected. And I've come up with what you're about to see here. And I'll show you how it works. But basically, it's a minecart with chest. With chest only because that way it just moves more smoothly. Nobody is ever going to have to ride in it, and it only costed an extra chest, so it really wasn't a big deal. And what that can do, minecarts, as you know, can push entities. So yeah, I mean, it's basically just going to keep going around in an endless circle. That's why I have the rails. And it's going to just nudge these groups of mobs that like to get stuck in here. Yeah, okay, there are 2 of them there. I thought that was a single one. But if it's only a single mob, then they don't get stuck. So right here, this is a prime example of what we're trying to avoid. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to build this out real quick, and then after I'm done, I'm going to be back up here, and we're going to see, I mean, I've been talking for only a couple minutes, and you're going to see after it's complete that doesn't happen anymore. So give me 1 second. And here we are. The rail is built out. Things are running smoothly. There's a stick up, and the minecart fixed it. It's not going to take too long. Let's see if we can catch another one before I cut this little clip here. There's one, and it's fixed. And there's another one. Cool. So that's the basic idea. The minecart is just going to pretty much push the mobs so they spread out a little bit. That way they can fall down the one wide gap without any issues. And this also works if an enderman is trying to push against one edge, which will allow him to start climbing a little bit, and he'll kind of stick right at the top of the vines. But the minecart will push him just enough so he's not at the edge anymore, and he'll fall straight down. It also works for mobs right here at the end. It's a very popular one, like that. It's supposed to fix it. And it doesn't want to fix this one. Of course, right when I record, there's an issue. Alright, come on, you gotta be kidding me. Screw you, Enderman. Now he'll die when he gets down to the bottom. So there are issues, apparently. Things happen, but as you can see, most of them are fine. If one gets stuck, it's just one at the very end, and it's only sometimes, because as you see, it pushed him just fine. But these ends are very popular spots for Endermen to stick, because they have 3 sides they can push against to climb. So that's kind of why. It's supposed to push him over enough. It did in the testing world. I don't know why it didn't here. But you see, it does sort out 99% of the clogs that happen. So now we don't have to wait for despawning before, we can get more Endermen. You might have the occasional one hanging right here at the edge, but even if another one comes by, it'll push him over and he won't be able to climb up. It'll let him, fall. So there's only going to be one we have to wait for a despawn for, which is unfortunate. It's not 100%, but as I mentioned, this design is based on a concept that no longer works, and it needs to be changed, but I redesigned it and made it better, made this too wide, and have a whole bunch of other bells and whistles that aren't included in this build. And that's just because I don't want to tear this whole thing down just to rebuild it. So I'm going to leave it as is, and as I believe I mentioned already, if there is a map reset at any point in time, I will build a new one if no one else wants to tackle this project. But I guess that's about it for this one. We're going to go back down. I already have 44 levels, so I guess I don't really need too many more, but yeah, we'll see what else we can't get into. Now that the Enderfarm stuff is taken care of, we're going to get started on some other activities. So here in the beginning of the server, Anomaly set up his little temporary chicken farm thing. And I'm kind of surprised nobody pranked him about it. So I took it upon myself. My first prank is going to be for the server owner. Hopefully it doesn't bode bad for me. But this is his little chicken construction thing over here. Let me show you this real quick. Now it's actually like 2 o'clock in the morning. We have relatively the same time zone. So I'm not too incredibly worried about him popping on. I am worried about the other guys who are in the countries across the sea, that they might pop on and see something going on, but even if they do, I'm not pranking them, so they should be, decent about it. Let me go ahead and sleep it real quick. Here we go. Now, what we're going to do is I like to give a little gift when I prank people. Just kind of something to be like, yeah, it's alright, pranked you. At least you got something good out of it. So I'm going to put another chicken farm over here. The kind of thing he should have done in the first place. And look, the Commonwealth, which is Waffling Brit, Sarge, Corvus. I think that's it at the moment. From the Commonwealth. We killed the chicken because it was lagging the server. So he likes to lag the server with his chicken construction thing. So we're going to go ahead and make him the auto-killing one. Let me stack my inventory here. I need those. So we're just going to put this like right here. Let's start with the chests. We're going to go ahead and let him have this. Start that off. I kind of showed how to build this one in the beginning. So I'm going to go ahead and build this out, and once this is done, I will resume and we'll see what's going on. Alright, so that's now built out. I gave him some stairs so he can get up there. Everything should be working properly. I haven't tested it. There's only a chicken in there because I found a random egg and I got lucky. But now we're going to do the rest of everything. And what we're going to do is actually kind of surround a little bit of this area. And kind of make it a little decorative, I guess. I hear a skeleton. Yeah, we'll just do it here, I guess. Go up 3. We're basically just going to cordon off a little area here. And we're going to fill it with chickens. Then I got to do all the signing stuff. Not even quite sure what I'm going to say about it, but we'll see. So I'm going to finish this off, and then I'll see you back in a second. Here I am just kind of spewing some chicken eggs around. So he can collect his eggs from for his new chicken farm from all the ones that are on the ground. That are hopefully they will be grown by the time he logs on tomorrow. So I'm just gonna finish doing this. I'm gonna write up the signs and I'll show you what I've got when I'm done with things. All right, and here we are. Hey Noms, that's what I call Anomaly. He's gonna know who did this like right away. He knows. He's gonna know. I gave you some new friends. I heard you like chicken. 'Tis tasty. That too. I say 'tis a lot. Before you start slaughtering them, collect some eggs. That's just a helpful tint because I'm not a very good mean person. So I told him about them. There's a bunch of chickens in here. A lot of them probably went down, I don't know, somewhere. Either way, he could probably get a decent amount of chickens. Oh, you know what? They're trying to follow their parent. This guy here probably. But they'll all probably be grown sometime soon. They should scatter back out. Shouldn't be a big deal. And then over here, there's the new farm. He can use the eggs from those guys to populate it. Use the eggs at the top of the stairs, blah, blah, blah. Good deal. Chest opens at the very least. If it doesn't work, then I'll fix it for him. But then he can tear this monstrosity down and he can get it. You have the right way? Wrong. I feel like I should have like some kind of a buzzer. Anyway. And then when he turns back around, that's when he's going to see this. Compliments of your friend, X. So the reason I'm actually attaching this into an episode is because he's going to be on for a few days. He's already said that he's got a few days off. He's going to be working on spawn a lot, so he's going to see this pretty soon. So I'm not too worried about it. I am going to try to wait until he gets he sees that video first. Or sees that video. I'm going to wait to see if until he sees the prank, and then I'm going to release my video. So now that's all that's left to do is the outro and to tell him to record when he gets to his little tent base. Alright, so we got the Enderfarm fixed up. It's good to go. Done deal. And we pranked the server owner. Was that a good idea to do that for the first prank? Go big or go home. So if you liked the video, click that like button. If you want to see more, subscribe. Favorite, comment, share, do what you do. See you in the next video.